atomic number is 28, which you find on the periodic table, right? Now, Nigel asked if you needed your other reference table today. The answer to that's no. Okay, if you didn't hear me say that. So once you know the atomic number is 28, what else is the same as the atomic number? Protons are 28. You know, the electrons are the same as the protons, which I heard several people say. And so you got those two also. Now, this is the part that I thought you really asked me. So to find the atomic mass, do you look on the period? 28 plus 31 is what? 59?
Yeah.
Okay, now that might be the same as the mass that's on the periodic table. It might not. Okay, sometimes it'll be the same, sometimes it'll be different. Why are you still wearing that beanie in here? Yesterday he told me I didn't give him long enough. I asked him too early. I just need to wait longer and he'd remember to take it off. So today it's been 15 minutes.
Actually, I just got in here.
No, you didn't just get in here.
I was not in 15 minutes.
No, but you went to the bathroom and you were a few minutes late like Derek from going to the bathroom, but yet it's been at least 10. Still, how much time do you need to remember to take your hat off? Please. Now, on the second line, what's going to tell you how to solve it? So, atomic number tells us what? All right, tells us the protons are
15.
And the electrons are
15.
Okay. So how are we going to know the element?
Well, I just look at the thing.
Okay, I heard add. So what are we doing with the add? What are we adding together? Protons and neutrons will be 31. So that's the what? All right, so that's the mass. All right, and which number did you use to get the phosphorus?
15.
The 15. All right, so 15 told us it's phosphorus. All right, so the last one, this little plus 3 tells us it's what?
Ion.
That tells us it's an ion, and it means we're going to subtract when we find our what, you really? Since you said subtract. We're going to subtract when we find the what?
Protons? Electrons.
Electrons. You only subtract for electrons. It has no impact on anything but the electrons. Everything else works the same. Okay? So to find the atomic number, where do you look? On the periodic table. So what's the atomic number, Najee? Yep. All right, so that means everybody how many protons, Isela? Yep, doesn't change. Atomic number has to match the protons. All right, how do you find the neutrons, Otanel? Uh-huh. Not for neutrons. That's right. So 27 minus 13. So 27 minus 13 would be 14. Okay? Now, to find the electrons, that's what that plus 3 is used to find. Okay? So your electrons would start out being the same as the protons, so they'd be 13, right? And then you subtract how many? You subtract that minus 3 and you get 10. Everybody feel okay about that, or do we need more practice?
I'm still confusion.
There's still confusion on what?
How do you get 13?
Where?
That 13?
This 13?
No, the other.
That 13?
The number.
This one? Protons and
Yeah.
atomic number are the same.
No, but how did you get the atomic number at first?
Oh, I looked on the periodic table for aluminum.
Oh. You didn't? I was okay. Okay, I get it.
You sure?
Yeah.
So we're okay or we're not okay?
Good.
Okay, then I guess we're ready. You need a periodic table and a calculator. I don't want anybody to do poorly. All right. Periodic table. Everybody have one? All right, now remember, just like yesterday, every individual block is a quiz question. Okay, so every block is worth 2 points. Don't leave anything blank. Try them all. All right, I expect lots of hundreds on this. Water. Yes, get some water. I don't want you to be parched over there. Pass it back to or go to cocktail spot. And when you're finished, just bring it up, put it on the stool. And then afterwards, we'll talk Bohr models. And then we're going to build some models today.
I do.
One for Diavion and Euro. And there's one for Jose way back there. If you want, hand it to Mario so we can fling it back there to him. All right, does everybody have one?
I didn't get one.
He's not handing it to you yet. I'll hush up there. Shut up. Is that or you're not gonna have supplies for the activity later? Shut up, Jose. You taking the quiz? Are you doing the quiz? Oh, I guess no matter. Homeschool. Can you what? One at a time. guys still working? Just two of you? Okay. You done with it?
Mhm.
All right. Find your notes. All right, let's talk Bohr models so that y'all can build today. I got everything set up. I'm gonna take notes on Bohr models so that y'all can build your models after a bit. I'm gonna get started on them because I've set everything up for y'all to be able to do it. Now, you may have done this in middle school. Depends on who you had. May have drawn them. You may have built them. If you had a sub, I know you didn't. This is Cologne. Y'all may have at least drawn them if you didn't build them. All right. Depends on what she decided to do. A lot of middle school teachers will do this. So. Stop writing on mine. Bored with that black ink is hard to get off. All right. And I will probably have your stuff graded if we have enough time to build today. Where am I at there? All right, too far. All right, so we've talked about protons, neutrons, electrons. We've talked about the two parts to an atom, the nucleus and the electron cloud. We've learned about how to find stuff, right? So now we need to talk about the electrons. And there are two kinds of electrons. This is not what I meant to do. Try that again. That's what I meant to do. Thank you. All right, so there's two types of electrons. All right, and you're going to have to label these on your model. So I've cut up the poster board at the back of the room. I've got pipe cleaners. Probably should have gotten more, but hopefully the 400 I have will be enough. All right. So the two types of electrons we're going to talk about are inner shell electrons and outer shell electrons. All right, so inner shell. Let me do outer shell first. And inner shell electrons. All right, so what is an outer shell electron? All right, an outer shell electron are electrons on the outermost ring. We refer to that as the highest energy level. Okay? Now, most of you will recognize that as the outermost ring. All right? But it's the highest energy level. Now, the outer shell electrons will only be on one ring that's known as the outer shell. Now, the inner shell electrons are all electrons on any ring that is not the outermost. So for the inner shell, there might be one that's the inner shell, or there might be two or three. So I've told y'all that you're all going to be drawing or building different atoms. All right. There will be a couple of you who duplicate in the room. So if we have an atom that has three rings, the third ring will be the outer shell because that's the outermost. Well, that means the first and second ring are going to be the inner shell. Okay? Does that make sense? I'll draw it in a minute. But I know some people are still writing. But if there's three rings, the third ring is the furthest away. So the third ring is the outer shell. That means the first and the second ring are the inner shell. Does that make sense? Okay? Now, what if you only have 2 rings? What's the outermost if there's only 2 rings? The second ring is the outermost, right? And so what's the inner shell? The first ring. What if you have 4 rings? The fourth one is the outermost. And then what's the inner shell? 1, 2, and 3 are the inner shell. Okay? So the number of inner shell rings can vary. Does that make sense? But the outer shell can only have how many rings? Only 1 is an outer shell. But the inner shell can vary depending on how many rings there are. Is everybody with me on that? Yes or no? Okay. Does everybody have what they need on the board, or do I need to wait? Because you're going to have to count up your inner and your outer shell electrons. I know you won't put it on your head bad, don't you? How can you wear that when it's 85 degrees outside? All right. So this is just one that I drew, and we're going to figure out how many inner shell and how many outer shell electrons there are. Okay? So, you want me to let you draw it, or do we just want to talk about it? Both. All right, you just sit there for a minute and chill. The Albion thinks you want to draw. So I'll be patient. Huh? You trying to tell me the answer? Oh, yeah. Yes, I got you. Yes. It's like trying to learn a foreign language. What's he want?
Trying to leave.
You cannot leave. You had it right. I already said that.
No, quit yelling.
He's over there still making hand gestures. All right, do we have a drawing?
Did she hear? She go, just yell.
Shut up.
Why?
Where were you yesterday? Yeah. Right. I need to go see how many days you've been absent. Because I don't know how many days you've made up.
I made up like a bunch.
Yeah, I know.
You know, I stayed for
Senior.
just don't look at your classes.
Yeah. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about mine. You know, with Miss Foy, when she sends out that stupid potential senior failure list, and I have to put you down for attendance.
That's sad.
That's my concern.
You should do that.
You know, I have very few of you people to keep track of. You, Carla, it's only like 4 of you. But you're one of them for seniors. Carla, she's on 6. I checked her yesterday.
I made up 2.
With me,
Yeah, when I say that.
minute for minute, you've done 2 full days. Not stayed 2 afternoons. 2 afternoons does not get you 2 days.
Well, together they
They make up 1 day. Mario has missed 9 days, so you're on 8 if you've done 2 afternoons. All right, so if we look at this, all right, this has how many rings? This little itty bitty dot's the nucleus. So how many rings do we have? Hey, Ms. Wells. All right, y'all chill for a minute so I can talk to Ms. Wells. Yeah, I need to fill out these order forms or do this order right too. So it's not for me supplies next year. All right, so I sent this to them and we run these off. So I'm assuming I need to make out a master one and add these things up for you.
Yes.
Okay, I ain't gonna have these done
You,
tomorrow.
no, you just get,
Okay,
you just take them on.
okay. Well, I did one for science department, but I have them straight for it.
Yeah, just,
All right.
if they give them to you, just take them.
Okay, so,
That, I talked to Ms. Bohr and talked to Ms. Curry, I talked to her, because she was saying that y'all were worried, because y'all don't know which classes.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna teach chemistry, physics, science. Some of them certified in, so
Right.
I'm never worried about that. Okay, so Ms. Wicker and I were talking, like, she's got anatomy and science. And like, I know that my stopwatches are breaking down, so I'm just gonna order one, or ask to order one.
Right.
And my bar magnets, I've got several that are in there, so I need to order, like, maybe 4 or something, but like, hers are more like animals and organs and things, but for kids.
She said we can wait to do that in the summer.
Okay,
Her main concern is just getting this.
okay, so
taken
she's
care
not
of.
as worried about the
Right,
dates.
she's,
Okay.
because there should be enough left over.
Okay, so then my next question on mine is like my batteries for the calculators. I have these in labs. Would it be easier to put it on here, or put it on there? You probably get it cheaper.
Name is Wall.
Okay. Hey, how are you? And then I'm getting ready to use pipe cleaners. I usually just buy. It's possible to get. Okay. And I'm
So
gonna
just
put it on.
put, what? And let me know how many, and then as I'm looking it up and stuff, I'll let you know if it's available or not.
Okay.
The whole binder,
That's like what I did for a grant.
Gotcha,
So,
Yeah, just let me know how many, like, total you would need, and then I'll look for the best, because, sometimes they do those, like, whole orders, and
okay.
so I can do that.
All right. I'll use 300 each semester, so let's say 6 max.
Okay.
That's what I need to know.
Okay.
All right.
No
If you don't mind that they come in wall hours?
No,
Okay,
just, when you put it, just staple this one on the top, so that,
you can do
because
that.
I'll probably do it at the end.
Okay.
Yep.
That sounds fine.
Sounds good.
And you don't want the department one,
Not that science stuff.
not
You
yet?
could- Yeah, you can
Okay.
wait till the summer for that.
Okay. All right, then I will hound them and have it to you Thursday mornings if I won't be here tomorrow.
Okay.
But I emailed it to them over the break and hopefully they'll have it to me by Thursday morning.
Okay,
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
you're welcome.
All right. So if that's rings 1, 2, and 3, what's the outer shell? Okay, so the outer shell is ring 3. All right. What's the inner shell? Ring what? And, all right. So if I ask you, which I'm going to, on your questions to go with your lab, how many outer shell electrons are there?
2.
Okay. Everybody with Jose?
No.
All right. So on that third ring, okay, how many electrons did I draw on the third ring? 2. That's how you get that. So your beads are your electrons, and the number of beads on your outside ring will tell you the number of electrons you have in the outer shell. Okay? So for your inner shell electrons, you're going to count up all your electrons on the rings you said were the inner shells. Turn off the TV and take the earbuds out of your ears. Because I cannot believe you find the inner and outer shell electrons funny. Really? Come on, dude. So, how many electrons are on the inner shell?
8, 10.
All right, so we got 2 on the first ring, and then 8 on the second ring, so I hear 10 electrons. Is everybody good with 2 on the outer ring and 8 on the inner ring? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody feels comfortable with finding the inner and outer shell electrons.
Yeah.
All right, so now we just need to talk about how you're going to build the model yourself. How do you know how many electrons go on each ring yourself? Huh?
How many rings are there?
You have to figure it out based on how many electrons can go on each ring. Okay, so here are the rules. On the first ring, does anybody remember from 8th grade how many electrons can go on the first ring maximum? Very good. All right, the first ring can only
I did.
have 2 electrons. Now, I will tell you, no one's going to have a model that only has 2 electrons. So everybody's going to have at least 2 rings. Okay? Nobody's getting a model that has 2 electrons. Nobody gets one that small. All right? The second ring can have a maximum of 8 electrons. Okay? Now you can have less, but the most you can have is 8. All right. The third ring can have a max of 8 electrons also. Now in parentheses, I'm going to put 18. All right, because it could actually have 18, but there's a whole reason that it has 18. It goes with some very deep level chemistry that I am not teaching in physical science. I don't even know why your curriculum calls for me to teach you 18, because it does not call for me to teach the reasons why it's 18. Okay, so for us, we are only going to work with that 8. Okay, now same thing for the fourth ring. It can have up to 32. We are not going to exceed 2. Okay, so for us, it can have a max can actually be 8, but we're not going to have more than 2. Okay? Because your curriculum only wants you to go through calcium, be able to do elements 1 through 20. So no one in here will have an element greater than 20. Okay? They don't want you to be able to do a Bohr model greater than calcium. And I will not make you do greater than calcium. What if I do that? Well, that's fabulous. But I'm not going to ask you to. Now, if you were taking chemistry, I would require that you be able to do that. But since we're in physical science, I'm not going to ask it. All right, so let's say that you have to draw magnesium or build magnesium today. No one will get magnesium, okay? Because we're going to do it together. All right, so how do you do magnesium? This is the model that you've been assigned, and you've been set forth with the materials on the back table, and you have to build it. Once you pick a counter, I will come around and assign you a model, and that's the counter where you stay. You cannot roam the room and get help from other people. The people that you are with can offer their assistance, and that's it. So I hear build a nucleus. You can take one pipe cleaner, and you can pick the beads. Yes, I would choose colors for the protons and choose different colors for your neutrons. So you can make a legend or a key to say, oh, these are my protons, these are my neutrons. Well, so how are you going to know how many protons and neutrons you have for your nucleus?
You gotta be accurate.
They have to be accurate, yes, because I will count. Okay, I need the atomic number. So what's the atomic number for magnesium? Now, manganese is often mixed up with magnesium. It's 12. Okay. So, magnesium is 12. So, what do we do from there? Oh, Estella. This is yours, my dear. I forgot to give it to you. I just happened to look down and see it. All right, so what do I do from there? What do you need to figure out? You said we had to build a nucleus, so what do we need to know? What's in the nucleus? What? How many protons are there? Okay, so I got 12 protons. What else is in the nucleus? Okay, so how do I find the neutrons? All right, so 24, subtract 12, and I get what? All right, so I got 12 neutrons. All right, and somebody said the electrons, how many electrons do I have? 12. All right, so I got all my particles. Now, which ones go in the nucleus? No, all go in the nucleus. Neutrons or protons? So 12 protons and 12 neutrons are going to go in my nucleus. All right, now, you can, if you want string, I have string back there. I think I left it in the bucket, but I can easily pull it out. If you'd rather put your beads on string, I have pipe cleaners. You can put your beads on a pipe cleaner, but you need to find a way to make them a tight little ball for your nucleus. Remember, the nucleus is not a circle. It's a tight ball. You'll be balling up your beads to make a nucleus, okay? Again, I would try to make some kind of legend, so I would sort and color code my protons and my neutrons. I made little buckets of beads. You can sort and separate them. If they're a different color and you want to swap them off with somebody else's bucket, you can do that too. All right, now, we need our electron cloud, right? So my electron cloud, how many electrons could go in the first ring? Okay, so How many electrons can go on my second ring? Now, everybody knows that we're getting that from these rules we just had, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, how many electrons have we drawn in?
Yeah.
We've drawn in 10. How many electrons do I need?
2 more.
I need 12, right? So I only need 2 more. So do I need a third ring?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to draw on a third ring. And I need 2 more electrons, you said. So drawing 2 more. Now I have drawn in my thing. Now, I need to label and make a key. So I have drawn my protons and electrons over here. So make sure you draw in my color-coded beads. I'd have color-coded beads. This is my outer shell. This is my inner shell. And then answer your questions. Okay? But everybody's drawing their own. Any questions about what you have to do?
How are we gonna say it again?
Huh?
How are we gonna make this?
There's tape in each of the things. And there's pipe cleaners back there. Okay? Please be mindful that I buy the pipe cleaners. You do not need to take 2 different pipe cleaners and wind them together in a funky pattern so that you use a large number of pipe cleaners. Do not make animals out of the pipe cleaners. I need those to stretch through 2 classes today. All right? I thought I had more than I apparently have. So please be mindful of the supplies back there and don't be wasteful. You will find cut out pieces of poster board so that you can tape your nucleus and rings to these. If your largest ring goes off the sides of the poster board, it's fine. All right? I'll come around and give you your element in just a minute. Please take only 1 bucket of beads to each of the counters. There are 6 buckets to go with the 6 counters, okay? If we find that we're not using all 6 counters, then the unused bucket can go to a counter, all right? Any questions about that?
Yeah.
But everybody needs 1 piece of cardboard. Each counter gets a bucket. Don't use the ones that are not cut, all right? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you said we're all drawing our own, do we all have our own models?
Yes, everybody makes their own model. I'm going to tell you the element you're getting in just a moment. I'm going to come around and assign it individually based on where you're sitting in the room. Okay? Now, you've got these pipe cleaners. I will leave these and these out for y'all. And I'm going to take those up so that you're not tempted to take too many. Because some of you will take too many. That should be plenty for our class. That's like 300 pipe cleaners. All right. Let me grab the papers while y'all are getting your positions.
Well, can I use the bathroom?
Can you use the bathroom?
Yeah.
Why, you dying or something?
Well, I mean, that's what I do in the bathroom, yeah.
You can't make it really, Mario.
Maybe. I might.
Got 1 pass
I
left.
don't know that that's.
How many times do I have left?
I got 1 pass. All right, take the best.
I got 2 each.
Blake, you used them all. You've used 2. You have 1 left. Take the vest.
Wait.
Oh, you're not going? All right, let me change you back to 2.
Why are you leaning over here? What are you doing? Don't worry about me. Coming over, you don't need that over here. You don't need to bring that over here. That's I don't know.
Are you working here?
Yes.
You pick them up.
What is it? Oh, we gotta get out. Calcium, what kind of calcium?
Just love
Can
it.
I get that?
Calcium.
No.
I said like.
Can I get Leon?
No. That's great.
What's the third? Leon?
Really, Tom, you're not back.
Wow.
I got chlorine. I get chlorine.
Okay, shut up.
I thought it was a work by herself.
Nope. Everybody does their own.
You already there. It's bad. This is still behind here.
Yeah.
God. You still working on this side?
Because I wanted to next week. Ma'am.
Miss Wall.
What?
Miss Wall.
Sure.
Wait, Miss Wall.
You're just naturally too
Wait.
thirsty.
You got
How you gonna put one? How you gonna put one?
Miss
I thought this
Wall.
was I thought the lucky supposed to be
Like the
inside.
Wait, we
IA,
haven't even
that's the
got
group,
it
right?
yet.
Huh?
Like when it says IA and IA.
Yeah, the number above it. The IA is the old
It's not on your.
The number above it is the new number.
Jeff, she's coming. That's gonna give it to her. Hey, still her shit. Wait, Miss Wall, are you supposed to put the
Do we need the cups?
like for the nutrients for the inside or just?
So what now?
We have to put them like on here.
Yeah, so stay in the nucleus. Plus, when you make the nucleus, you want to be able to follow it. You don't want to be able to ring.
Here, take it.
We're basically
All right, who have I not seen to create or give an element?
Miss Wall, I know what period it is.
I know.
Try to left to right.
So like 1, 2, 3.
You fell for it.
You had to see I didn't have those. I didn't have those. I had like big ice ones.
Miss Wall.
Have I given everybody an element now? Is there anybody I have not given an element?
Me. We have the same.
I gave you some.
I need your assistance.
No, you don't.
I need you. Tell me something real quick.
What do you need to know real quick?
So you got 20 neutrons,
Oh, I got the wrong.
protons. You want to
Look at
You gotta have a way to corral it. Guys, try not to drop the beads. They hit the floor, pick them up. I buy this stuff.
My bad. So I have 18 electrons.
I've had one pack.
And how many can go in the outer shell?
Yeah, Miss Wall, I'll go to that.
Take the best.
Oh my.
I thought I could hold it, but now I started thinking about it more. That's on my screen.
Okay, stop talking.
I hate you. I really do. Oh my god. I really don't.
B.
That's right.
We're all over here. Are you already putting it on?
Ma'am, mind your business. Thank you. You picking them up.
Because if you have two,
He was happy to get hit.
But for us,
What you do is just put it, how many,
Here, like
it's
that.
like basketball, I mean,
yes. Oh, wow. I didn't know.
She said to do it this way. Miss Walmart, Jane said we're wrong. She just told me to tell you that.
Yes.
Okay. I was kidding.
Should've already known that. Then I gotta find this. Bro, we're gonna be I'll reach it. No. Where do you want them? What? I'm trying to look.
Stop. Why are you doing
What? If it was an
Why are
accident,
you
if it
doing
would be an accident.
Why are you doing it like that?
Come on there.
Why are you doing that anyway? Look, there are 3 different color beads.
Yeah, question. Mr. No.
Must have 19.
Boy, what's that? We'll go an hour. No. That's. Do we have to have 4 rings? Or can it be only 3?
Some will have 3, some will have 4. Depends on which element I gave you.
Excuse me, I need you off the paper.
What's your electron? Yes. I mean, neutrons. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty sure it's 32. Yeah, look at that. Do 34 minus 16.
Confused.
That was an accident. So many times. That's something you try to keep it out of that car.
At you.
We gotta share. Put your hands right here.
What are you doing?
Look, I didn't know.
Yeah,
What
you
do
do.
you mean not close? I think it's in my mouth.
If you want, go look in the other one that's not being used back there.
Okay, Ms. Wall, what if your ring isn't big enough?
Then use another pipe cleaner to make it bigger.
Pipe cleaner.
Shut up. B word.
Move your hands.
Who? You know what?
So, it's like.
Wait, the number of inner shells.
You do not know what you even picked up. Wrong people, what is this?
So what he's going with?
They had a lolly.
They what?
They had a lolly.
Hi, Lolly.
Yeah.
Oh. Hi, Lolly. You came to steal stuff?
Oh,
Okay.
hey, who are you?
I go from one, two, three, like 1, 2.
Yeah. Give me it.
Yeah, it's kind of nobody's fault. Other than drink off my knees.
It's like that.
What are we doing? Oh, the beads all on there? You can go fetch home.
Get that one, but yes, they're all on there.
How, you got yourself, you got my nigga. You got my nigga. Wait, how are we supposed to glue a ball onto the paper? Or tape a ball? It's for neutron. Can we just? Yes.
So is our nucleus, pipe cleaner things have to be different colors? Ring.
What's your time?
Let's just say those is the nucleus.
Yeah, it's not unless it's.
I do it like that.
What's that? You gotta mind this up, Tom, now. You need this on
I don't need to.
You still gotta take them down.
That's what you gotta take. You already got your stuff. How you making your?
That's the nucleus. Guys, you remember when we talked about the nucleus being balled up, not a ring?
No.
This is Diopion's nucleus. Okay?
I can't see it.
It's real.
Yes. Okay, ball it up.
How many things?
Let me see.
How many things? Oh, that's a wrap.
Must be supposed to.
That's right.
It's yours. Oh, you forgot.
You're so loud. I can hear from here.
You
You're gonna need bigger piece.
That's how
What are y'all doing? Sing a song?
That's she is, yeah. She's over here going.
That's what I got. Maybe it's my count. You ain't get on your photons and neutrons? That's what you gotta do. No, you just don't know what you're doing. sorry, we can see this right now. That's it.
Well,
¿Qué
like,
pasa, Bohr?
The number, yeah. And then the period is how many, like, is this one?
That's all that.
This is gonna be.
Tiberius, like, you know,
Yeah. So like the period is 6, 3, that's white.
No, I'm getting ready to work on that.
don't touch.
Yes.
Just get, oh, you gotta do 20. Well, I don't know how more I know this. I know this. You see 24 of those up there? Deep red. You stop making fun.
I'm not saying there has to be
19. 19.
Wait, you did the big number?
I think I did.
Oh.
Well, did you give me the biggest elephant? I got Kelsey.
Yes.
Which one's your one to beat up? I'm gonna beat you 10 times.
I don't have a steady hand. I keep missing the thing.
Oh,
Hey, yeah,
that's so.
so anyway, besides that, how'd you do it? You just put them on there?
Yeah. So you did your time.
What? Those, that's 18? Hold it close. Hold it
I
close.
know.
16. Okay, same amount as you got.
That's how you picked it up.
I'm sure you said that 10 times already. You really pick up the whole extra two.
What was that?
Like,
You're like, who laughed?
I don't know about that.
Right, like they would. I like that movie.
Right.
Yes.
Look, you know, you know that,
I'm staying up.
Murder.
I can sleep now.
I'm trying to tell y'all what I got.
Make sure you're friends.
Actually great.
Who did say that? Goes.
No.
What is
He did say it. It's why I know you put
See, now, if I said that about white people, it'd be a problem. So you said,
What?
you said,
Why you gotta come like that, aren't you?
I said, like,
Who?
oh, yeah, he did.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if she gonna make us present these. No, that is too much.
One of the twins.
Oh, you're like.
What?
Yes.
I'm doing the creative.
Creative.
Alright. Even though you don't extra friend, you know, they appreciate what you work on.
broke it.
Maybe you can.
She does.
I mean, honestly, at this point, Get tired the other way. And then I have to look up the links to screen. No, I don't mean like that. I mean like sarcastic. I have an uneven amount of people. I should not. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Right. Who stole my strong?
4, 5, 6, 7.
Look at it.
Yeah.
No, nucleus is they're not. I have a better grade than you.
I never say yeah, she does. Why can't we just do a ring for the nucleus? This is stupid.
The nucleus is not a ring.
Well, it can look like a ball and you ring it up.
It's not a ring.
Make it 2D.
Wait, so first,
What?
the powerhouse of the cell is
Wait, okay, so I'm confused, okay. So I'm doing my second ring, right?
I'm probably just gonna finish that later. We're not gonna be able to finish that right now.
We're not gonna finish this thing.
Alright, well, I'm finishing
Gee,
later.
I'll be on set. I'm not even talking to you.
What?
Okay.
Second ring can only have how many electrons on it?
Hey,
And that's all you put on the second ring.
just making sure.
Stop making her do. Sorry, African.
You know what?
Oh, we got Bohr.
I'm so focused.
It's not working.
She was going hard.
That's why we're working on
I can't.
Ooh, he still is.
I used to hate them. We you go in and say, ooh, you still is. They'd be like, "Eric."
Where you still going?
Alright.
Walking out.
God. See,
That's what I was showing her too.
Oh, so you trying to do it? Yeah.
Bowling balls.
She would say, oh, where would you say that?
Yeah.
Throwing balls. I was like,
You are ready.
you all the time you make me class. Throwing balls. You read it.
Oh my God, I did this.
Oh, was that you, Miguel? Oh my God.
I think it. I don't know.
I was like, oh my God. And we probably still on him.
And his voice was so high.
All right, we have about 5 minutes, so we need to pick up.
Right, you was really about to say who's.
All right, so if you will, your buckets of beads, the tape, all of that needs to go back on the table. Your individual poster board and the stuff that you've done, I need you to make sure it's sitting on your poster board, and we're gonna stack it up in one area, okay? Now, if you have a whole stack of pipe cleaners that you're not using, those are extras, put them on the back. Okay, but if you picked out 3 or 4 that you're planning to use tomorrow, put them on top of your poster board. If you've already got beads picked out that you don't want to lose, you need to thread those onto your pipe cleaners so you don't lose those. Okay? Yeah. Go up.
Here we go.
Staple your answer sheet to the top of the poster board.
Oh, wait, there's a couple questions I don't understand.
Then staple it to the top, and you can put it to tomorrow. You're going to stack it everybody else. Staple, make sure your name is on your worksheet and on your poster board. Put your name on your poster board and your worksheet.
Is that okay for them right now?
Yeah.
I said, I was supposed to do that. I only got this far. Like about.
All right, back here beside Nigel, where Grace from the other behind, is where we're stacking everything.
Nobody fighting anyway.
Nobody knows. I was looking on, he was like beating him. Like, those was always big.
All right, I guess
I'm
I'm talking about Jesse and
Now that I don't.
I think they was like fighting. He took it too far.
You know this.
I'm pretty smart.
Right.
One.
Beads, pipe cleaners, do that stuff.
I don't come one day.
All right, put your calculators up.
Where'd it go again?
Over there, make a stack with Grace's, and yours, they were crap stacks.
Hey.
You can put it over.
What's
I was like, bring me some of this brown.
You can stack them over there under the cabinet. By where Grace has got all her crap too, if you want to lay flat. So put them all over there. Between Markel and where Grace is at.
That's what you gotta take on your back too.
Yeah. We'll finish it tomorrow.
It's not on my head. Blood all on it.
You guys got calculators over here?
Oh, who is still over here?
There's quiz. That's not a quiz.
Right, that is not no.
That's a worksheet. It's a atomic structure quiz beside. It looks the same. Here, here. I got 2 more calculators out there somewhere. Yeah, I'm working it out for you. Y'all stop buying up at the door. They don't have to be in a solid stack. If you want to move it over some so it's not going to topple over, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, there. Pick up these balls.
Y'all take the container back over there. See
Put over there.
that stack that's way over there between Grace and Markel? Over there.
You know, get this tape off my back. Now.
It's like right here.
Get it off. Now.
Who's over there?
It's under your desk.
Guys, if you leave this stuff over there, I cannot tell if we're here to leave your stuff on it. And who's this over here? Right there. So I can tell them what area to leave your stuff alone.
They should leave it alone.
I'm Miss Brown.
They should. They should, but that doesn't mean I'm as well. Hi there. Salute. Markel, hold Derek's strap. I got you. I'll leave messed up again.